What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, and here in Texas, it's almost Christmas time. We're days away from celebrating Jesus' birthday, and so a lot of people are playing a lot of Christmas music. And I don't really have a stance on Christmas music one way or the other. We did just have I'm a kindergarten teacher. We did just have our Christmas performance or our holiday performance, since a lot of the songs are Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, solstice, other things. But I don't necessarily ever seek out Christmas music to listen to. I own one Christmas album, and this little kid named Charlie Brown made an absolutely awesome Christmas album once, and that is fantastic. But other than that, I don't own a Christmas album. But I decided to check some out at my library. My library has many Christmas albums, and they had this Bob Dylan one. So I thought I would check it out and just share my thoughts on it, just because it is Christmas. And, I know some people out there do choose to listen to Christmas music. So I checked out this album by Bob Dylan. It came out in 2009. It is a straight up, nothing clever, nothing different, nothing unique, other than the fact that it's Dylan singing the songs. 15-track CD of Christmas songs. Most of them are just things you know and recognize. Of the 15, I knew 13 of them. There were two songs, one called The Christmas Blues, I'm not sure I'd ever heard of, and another one called Christmas Island, I don't think I'd ever heard before. And for the most part, every song sounds like either a traditional Christmas song you would hear on like your radio station that plays Christmas oldies all the time. Nothing too different other than the fact that when Dylan sings, you're like, oh, this is a Dylan version. Some of them sound like what he's doing currently now, the sort of like doing like sort of, roots, not roots rock, that has a different, it is the roots of rock, but you know what I mean? Old timey Americana rock, like that type of vibe. Several of the songs just sound like they could be on a normal Bob Dylan album today, if not for the fact that the lyrics were about Christmas. And then a good portion of the songs kind of remind me of maybe watching a Christmas show like an Ed Sullivan type special or a Lawrence Welk type Christmas special with like background singers and maybe bubbles floating through the air and everybody's wearing like a little cute elf costume. Like there's that kind of vibe for some of the songs. As far as a Christmas album goes, it's probably pretty good. I mean, it all really depends on how much you can handle Bob Dylan's voice. He's still making albums, right? 2 years ago, I think was his most recent, which he redid a bunch of old songs, and that was actually pretty good. Or during the pandemic, maybe 3 years ago at this point. But his voice, this is 2009, his voice is gone. His voice is shot. I mean, there are two songs on here, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and the closing, Oh Little Town of Bethlehem, where it kind of sounds like he's not going to make it through the song. It's just like, you can almost hear him like fighting back a cough. Other songs, his voice, that sort of rustic, aged, I can't sing anymore quality works. The title of the album is Christmas from the Heart, in the Heart, and that is the vibe. That is 100% the perfect title for the album, because it really does sound like these are just songs that were in Bob Dylan's heart. And when he decided he wanted to make a Christmas album, he literally jotted down a bunch of songs because they're the ones that he thought of first. He didn't go out, doesn't feel like he went out and sought out things that nobody knew about, doesn't feel like he did like a theme time radio hour and found the most obscure. We don't have a cover of the Kinks' Father Christmas, or we don't have a twist on Fairy Tale in New York, or even something recent like the Diamond Rugs Christmas in a Chinese Restaurant. We're not getting anything like deep or weird or off the path. We're getting straightforward Christmas songs. 15 of them. Opens up with Here Comes Santa Claus, which right away, it's light, it's bouncy, it has a little country vibe. We got the background singers in. Like, you're just like, all right, this is a Christmas album, man. Bob's not trying to be dark or twisted or weird. He's just giving us Christmas music. Do You Hear What I Hear? One of the few that kind of doesn't work for me. To me, there was something a little more mysterious about this song, that, do you hear what I hear? Where like those questions seem to be coming from a spooky distance in like the versions I am familiar with from the radio. This one just seems a little too like, do you hear what I hear? It's not that upbeat, but it just, the tone is a little off on that one. I'm not all in on Do You Hear What I Hear? Winter Wonderland, it's a typical Winter Wonderland. Hark the Herald Angels Sing. These vocals he's kind of struggling with. I'll Be Home for Christmas. Now we're getting into sort of anything that is like the simpler the instrumentation. This one primarily it's like a solo piano that's kind of leading off, and I think might be the whole thing. I think instruments kind of seep in, but it has just a solo piano feel. And this is when we're starting to lean into like Dylan doing Christmas as like Tom Waits, or even something like I think of the Diamond Rugs. I don't know if you know the band Diamond Rugs, if you've heard of them. Fantastic. Their first album is hit it out of the ballpark. Members of Deer Tick, members of Black Lips, members of Los Lobos. I think Steve Berlin is in that band. But their closing song on the album is Christmas in a Chinese Restaurant, about they get in a fight. So he has Christmas in a Chinese restaurant because he and his spouse were fighting. He told the kids Santa Claus wasn't real. Spoiler alert. But that's a great one of those just like drunken Christmas Eve type songs. Dylan doesn't quite sound drunk on I'll Be Home for Christmas, but he's definitely leaning into more to that lone storyteller at the piano type vibe. I don't think he might, I don't know if he's playing the actual piano. He might be. I know he plays the electric piano, but I think this is like a straight up acoustic piano on this. So I think that's one of the better tracks. Little Drummer Boy has just a good vibe. He's kind of picked up the pace just slightly, it seems, in it than the normal version. That's some good energy. Christmas Blues sounds like it could be straight off a modern Dylan album. I mean, it's like a blues song. You put different lyrics in it. It fits on anything he's done in like the past decade. Oh, Come All Ye Faithful. He does the Latin version also, Adeste Fideles, Laetus Triumphans. This is one of the songs we do in my school. We do the Latin version and the English version. Dylan struggles more with the Latin than my 5-year-old kindergarten kids do. At least that's what it sounds like. It just sounds like maybe I'm assuming the song, again, came from his heart and he just picked it and nobody picked it for him. But it almost sounds like he's reading the Latin lyrics for the first time. And it's like, he sat down to record it and he's like, oh, I got this. Oh, come all you faithful. Like, well, there's a Latin part of it. And he's like, oh, really? Show me the lyrics. And it almost sounds like he's just sounding them out. Like the Latin, I'm not convinced. Not convinced on the Latin part of that. But, you know, it's nice that he's doing the Latin part of it. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is pretty true to the original. Sounds pretty good. Must Be Santa. Really weird song choice. Just, I don't know. Why not put like a Frosty and a Rudolph on here also, which he doesn't do. I think Must Be Santa is just maybe the oddest song choice on here. It has a very upbeat, almost like a Pogues meets Los Lobos meets the Wiggles doing Australian folk music. It's got one of those upbeat, kind of jaunty type, like maybe there's a washboard involved. Must Be Santa, but it has that sort of folky, punk folky type vibe to it, but not punk enough. But really, that's sort of the vibe. A little upbeat, jaunty little thing. The First Noel is pretty good. They're pretty straightforward. Christmas Island, one I had not heard. We get a pedal steel guitar in there. Island vibes are strong on this. Kind of a cute, fun little song. Not familiar with Elvis's Christmas album, but seems like something that would have been on an Elvis Christmas album. Maybe it is on Elvis's. I did not check. But that's the vibe I get. Something Elvis would have done with that pedal steel just whoop in the back. We get the Christmas song, which is another one that sounds like current Bob Dylan. Just the instrumentation, the music just has that old-timey rock and roll feel, early pre-rock feel. This should have been the last song. I mean, the last line is, "And have yourself a merry little Christmas." He does a good job on it. He sounds worn out, but cheerful. Like, it's like a good, like, holiday season vibe, like exhaustion, but merry exhaustion. It's a good closer. But for some reason, he then throws "Oh Little Town of Bethlehem" after that. Just switch the two. It's a better album. And again, his voice is, I think, you feel the strain on his voice, and he's not quite able to do what he did on the other songs. And that's it. It's a Christmas album. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know what to say. Would I ever listen to it again? Probably not. But if somebody told me, hey, put on a Christmas album, I might put this on only because I like Dylan. It's not bad. It's nice to like hear Christmas music and then go and then hear him sing and go, oh, this is Dylan. I forgot, because it does sound so traditional musically, and like he's really not. He's respecting the songs. This is definitely a thing that comes out of like love and respect, and just like he wanted to make a Christmas album, so why not? So yeah, it's the first time. I've only heard it a couple times now. Just started listening to it just for the sake of this, to have that experience. But yeah, I might do a couple more Christmas albums because I've discovered there are some interesting ones out there. I knew there were interesting ones out there, but now for the first time, I actually am kind of motivated to check them out. Can't say I'm ever going to listen to this again. Again, I'm not one who would play Christmas music out of choice, but if I had to put it on in the background, it's not bad. Anyways, that's all I got. I just wanted to share my thoughts on a Bob Dylan Christmas in the Heart. All right. Yeah, thanks for watching, man. And let me know what you think of this album. Let me know if you're a Christmas album lover fan. And if there's a Christmas album by a rock artist you think I should definitely check out, even though I have a couple I'm going to check out anyways. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Peace, and have yourself a happy holidays and a merry little Christmas, if you celebrate it in your part of the world. I know we do here in Texas. So anyways, peace. Talk to you later.